Hello everyone, you're welcome to Tips and Tricks with Praiz. So today I just want to walk you through the process on how I make some clothes from the beginning process to the fabric selection process and up to the final result. The first thing I do today, I want to make a skirt. So what I consider when I want to make stuff with that, I'll consider what I'm going to be needing it for, where I'm going to be going with it, and what I'm going to be pairing with. How do I want to look like, the event I'm going to be going out with the outfit for. So today I want to make a simple pencil skirt, and one of the easiest way I'll be teaching one of the easier ways to make a pencil skirt. Ignore this fabric and let us sketch. So let me just set this aside so it wouldn't distract our sketch process. I'm just going to make a very rough sketch on the skirts. This is the skirt I want to show. However, I want to drape some things around my skirt at the waist side. So the draping will be coming this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, and fall by the side like this. To fall by the side like this. So I'm going to be using the Ankara for the drape effects. So we're working with hip of 48, working with a waist of waist 33. Then working with a hip level in no particular order, hip level of 12, and the skirt length of, let's say, 22, let's say 23 of the skirt length. Now for this tutorial, we'll be needing our curve rulers, which are very important. Our curve ruler, what you can might call deep curve. Needing our rulers, the long ruler, a shorter ruler, our scissors. I just like to have two pairs of scissors where I'm working, because sometimes I tend to have the ones that are not sharp. We need our pin sets, our table pin, thumb pin. Our hip is 48, and 48 divided by 4. That's the 4 parts of your body. So your body is into 2 parts. Assuming we have a human body like this, standing by the side. This is the skirt waist by the side. This is your butt. This is you wearing a long skirt. This is a little bit of your stomach bump, and there you go. And of course your leg. Let's just see, this is your leg, and this is the part of your body that goes to the front, your boobs, your back, and your hand, if there's a need for that. So now the human body is not straight, as you can see. The human body is not straight. This is the side of her. This is a side view of the human body. Let me just state it here: side view of your body wearing a skirt. Now this is your butt. This is your front. The front part, that's about your crotch area. This is under your butt. But not everybody has this kind of defined shape. Some people butt might be flatter than the other, like your back is inwards. Some people some people has a very straight look at this part, like it's just straight, but at least there is something at the back, which is your butt. So we're going to be cutting our skirt along this line, and imagine this is your side view. That means there's a line at the joining of your skirt here. Our hip divided by 4 into 2, right? First of all, our hip is into our body. Our measurement for skirt is into 2 parts, so the back and the front. Because of this joining, we're going to divide our measurement into 2, the back and the front. Though our back has a little bit more it's more defined than the front, so naturally our back is supposed to carry something bigger than the front. I mean, the measurement is not supposed to be equal, but for beginners, let us assume it's equal because it's still going to fall that way. So this is the side, so our hip divided by 4. So for us to easily cut, we can't cut it like hip divided by 2. Our hip divided by 2, 48 divided by 2 will be somewhere between 24. Then 24 divided by 2 again is going to be 12. So we're going to be working with 48 divided by 4 or 24 divided by 2. So first of all, the first thing you have to know is that your measurement is into 2, the front side and the back side. And all your measurements work, both for tops and everything. There's a front part of your body, there is a back part of your body. And let me fold this into 4. So after folding like this, you fold into 4. How do you know what to fold? You're going to be using the widest part of your bodies to fold your fabric. So this is for freehand tailors or fashion designers. If you know you don't want to use pattern, this is one of the easiest ways to get your skirt done in minutes. So our hip divided by 4 is 12. Our hip divided by 2 is 24. So that 24, we're going to see share it into 2. So we're going to cut everything on fold. So we're aiming towards 12. But however, we're going to consider our sewing allowance, which I personally use 1.5 for my sewing allowance. So we're working with about 13.5 on fold. So normally I'm supposed to fold all the way like this back to get 13.5. But I'm going to show you a trick I use to get it done faster. So this is 13.5. Perfect. But however, I want to cut all my skirts together, both the front and the back. I want to cut them at once. So normally I'm going to cut this front, then go ahead and cut the back, but I want a very faster and easier method. You know, this channel is all about easy and fast and smart. So we're going to be considering the back, and our back, we need a zipper allowance for the back. So let's introduce our sketch again. For our back, for this skirt to come to your body, say we are going to be using an elastic at the waist, and I'll be needing a band. So I'm going to have a zip at the back of my skirt, a zip at the back of my skirt. For this back, I'm going to leave at least 2 inches for the back at this point, at least 2 inches at the back. So I'm going to cut out the remaining fabrics so as to not to get confused. So I remember we said we'll be using a length 23 for sewing. So normally you're going to have 23, then your allowance for folding at the bottom of this place. Your allowance of folding at the bottom of this place. But I discovered that my 23 might be too long. I need a short skirt. You know, I need a short skirt that where I wear it. Alright, let's keep going. So I'm going to be assuming that my whole length is going to be 23, and when I fold it, I'll get about 21 thereabouts or so. So I'm just going to use 23 for the whole length of the skirt. But then you have to consider if you're going to be using a waistband or not. First, let us mark out 23 like this. I hope you are seeing my chalk very well. Since our skirt will not be cut into 2 at the center, this is going to be our center. We're not going to be using yet our center because we have left our zip allowance at this side. This is our zipper allowance. I don't know if my marker, I hope my marker will not show on my fabric. At the back, into our zipper allowance. At the center, this is the center of our fabric, our skirt. The front view of our skirt is going to be here. Front and back. So if this is our center of our skirt, that means the back is going to come right after it. Then this makes this place the side of everything we'll be working on. So now we've gotten our skirt length, which is 23. There are a lot of things to put in consideration when you're cutting your skirt. You don't just go ahead and cut. Now, is our skirt going to be having a waistband? If yes, how many inch waistband? I love very small waistband. I don't like something very bulky, so I use 1.5 for my waistband. So I'm going to take out that 1.5 away from the 23 length. Guys, something really tragic happened while I was recording. I didn't know my phone had stopped recording, so I've been recording for like 1 hour to 45 minutes after the part I was working with my fabric. After that part ended, that video stopped recording from that part. So I had to finish cutting my fabric, I finished cutting my skirts and everything before I realized that my phone has stopped recording. So I just decided to repeat this process again because I don't want you guys to miss out on this, and I love you that much, so I'm willing to go all the way with you guys. So I had to bring back my paper. So don't be confused if you are watching to this extent. I was cutting on my fabric before with freehand method, but I had to go and repeat it again. That's like tautology. I had to repeat it because my phone stopped recording for some weird reasons. So I just want to start from where I stopped with while I was working on my fabric. So please, if you are working on this, please do it on your fabric. Just ignore this. I'm doing the same, everything I've done, the same thing, the same length I'm using. Though my paper is quite shorter, so I'm just going to be managing my paper surface for this particular tutorial. So this, where I stopped was that this from here to here is my length of my skirt, both for folding allowance and everything. And this is my band line. I've considered that this part is where I'm going to be starting my band from. Since I am working on it, this is my band of 1.5 inch band precisely. But of course, you're not just going to assume that, oh, the 1.5 inch is going to just be what you're going to be having, because you're going to be joining the band to your body, to your skirt block, or when you're sewing, you're going to join your band to your skirt. You have to consider that joining allowance at the top of your skirt. So my joining allowance for this particular one was supposed to be 1/2 inch, because you're going to be joining the band to your skirt, right? You just gum at the top of your skirt. I'm going to be joining, so you have to factor that into place. I will just go ahead and just cut like this because it's going to affect my length of my skirt, especially if you're very particular about your skirt length or accuracy like me. So I'm just going to factor that in, and I'm going to be adding an extra 1/2 inch at the top. So this I'm using a backer, so it's going to be really thick. So let's just manage with me. So I'm going to put in my hip level now. So I will just go ahead and measure hip level from here. You remember, this is where our band is going to be starting from, and this is the allowance that we're going to be adding our band to. So I'm just going to take my tape upwards a little bit, considering my band. Do you understand? Do you know what I've done here? So this is 1 inch, 1.5 inch for our band, but I'm going to factor the joining allowance for my skirt. So I'm just going to put my tape right like this where the band is going to starting from. But I've taken out the whole of my band allowance. Let me show you something. So this is your side view of your skirts. This is like my shape, but maybe a little more defined at the butt area. So this is me, like this is my skirts waist and high waist skirts, and that is the band of my skirts. Now you can see that I'm not a straight shaped lady. So some of us, especially African women, we are quite curvy at the butt region and at the side. So this is the back, this is your butt. Now let me, like I said before, this is your butt, this is the front. Now this is the side of your skirt. So this is what I have in mind when I want to wear a pencil skirt. I don't want a skirt that is straight because I am not straight. So you are not straight. So that's what you should consider. So whoever your client is, or whoever you're making this piece of skirt for, please consider the person's body. You want a very fitted look. You don't want a look that is flat. So I'm just going to consider that. And of course, this is my side view. That does not mean that I don't have hip. Like you see my croquis here. My croquis is quite curvy because I am curvy. I can see a definition of her shape here. It's quite curvy because I'm curvy. This is her waist, so you can see she's quite curvy. So that is what you should have in mind at the side. So that's your hip level. This part where your hip is wider is your hip level. And this part where your hip is well defined, like where your shape is showing very well, that is your hip level. So I'm going to just put my hip level in place. My hip level is 12. It varies for different people, so you have to measure it from where the person is going to be putting on their skirt to where the hip is well defined. So just going to put my hip level is 12 because I'm kind of low waisted. 12. I'm just going to rule that. So this is my hip line. So this is my, I'm going to be abbreviating them. So hip line, when you see HL, you know it's the hip line. HL is the hip line. This is my waist. This is my skirt length. SL is the skirt length. And this is my zip. Let me just put it somewhere around here. I don't know if I'm capturing this properly. That's my zipper line. So now I've factored all these things in place. What next do I do? I'm going to put in my parameters now in place. So you know that I'm working on a hip 48. Hip 48 is the wider part of my body. So hip 48 now, like I told you how to fold your fabric, I'm not going to be measuring, cutting flat. So I'm going to be cutting on a fold of 4. So my fabric is 40, my hip is 48. 48 divided by 2, 24. 24 divided by 2 is 12. It gives you 12. So my hip line is going to be carrying 12. My waistline, the same method. Divide your waist into 4, and whatever you get as a result is what you're going to put on your waistline. So now let's go. My waist is 33. So 33 divided by 2 is about, okay, let me show you how I work. I do my fast calculation on my tape. If I don't have any calculators around, I'm not one of those designers that have audio parameters in their head. I have a lot to think about, so guys, pardon me. So I'm just going to consider my tape. 33 is somewhere around here. And I'll fold my 33 into 2 like this. I will just ignore the rest of the tape and fold my 33 into 2 like this. That's giving me about 16 and a half beside this. So you see, I didn't even get it in the first place. Now I'm going to fold that 16 and a half into 2 again. That's simply you doing 33 divided by 4. I hope you get the math. This is not the point of the video, so I will not go over it again. So it's going to give you 8.2. 8.2814 for pattern makers. 814. But I'm going to teach you how to read your tape properly. But let's go first. 8.2. 8.2 is going to be what I'm working on. So I'm just going to put it down there. So that's going to be your waistline. Then go ahead to put down your hip line. Divided by 4 is 12. So I'm going to put in my 12 here. Now, I'm working on the pencil skirt, and like I said, it's a pencil skirt. I'm not working on a straight skirt, so it's kind of a little bit clingy at this part. You understand? It's not a straight. Look at this is a straight skirt. Oh. You see, I'm already used to pencil skirt. I cannot even draw a straight skirt. This is a pencil skirt. This is a straight skirt. So this is a straight skirt, no shape or whatever. This is what we're trying to achieve. This is not what we're trying to achieve. I hope you get. Like you see my skirt on my mannequin, on my croquis. it has shape already. So that is what I want to have. I want something that will flatter my shape very well. So how do you get your pencil skirt? For big ladies, for the thick ladies, you can go as low as 2-inch deduction for your pencil skirt, or 1.5 inch. For the people that are not so curvy, you can go on as maybe 1 inch. 1.5 inch is fine for them too. It does depend on what they have. It's just a freestyle thing. You have to ask them, what do you want? What are you trying to achieve? If you are going below 3, 4, 5, that's a lot. The person will not be able to walk. That's like you're swimming for a fish that just wants to swim. So I'm just going to, how do I achieve this? So from this my hip line, I can come down by 5 inch. So it's just a freestyle thing. It's not a fixed parameter, 5 or 6, whatever. At that 5 inch, I'm just going to mark out a broken line. So this is a broken line of my shaping. So this is going to be S for shaping. Shaping, S for shaping. Now, because I want it to be clingy, I don't want it to be free, I'm just going to use a 1.5 inch deduction on that part. So I will not, while I'm working on it, I might decide what her fitting is. I'll decide that, okay, I want it tighter or slimmer or whatever. So if here is going to be 12, 1.5 inch minus 12 is going to give you 10.5. So I'm just going to go down this line and put your 10.5 on your line. Can you see 10.5? I'm just marking it out. Now, this is where your curved ruler comes in. This is where your curved ruler comes in. This is where you need a curved ruler. Now, watch the placement. I'm just going to go ahead and connect the waist curve line to the hip line. Then I'll connect the rest all the way down. So now, what I'm going to be doing it a very smooth line. Like this. Now I'm going to be connecting the hip line to the shaping. So just going to be doing it like this. Then I'm just going to be taking this straight down. Now this is quite a funny shape, right? We don't want this kind of ash shape for our skirts, right? So you can just go in here and try to blend this line a little bit. It's still going to fit, because if you are going to be making it like this, it's going to give you a very harsh line which you don't want. So I'm just going to go ahead and blend the line very well. I'm going to blend the line so you can see. Then here too, you can go ahead and blend the line here too. You don't want any harsh line on your finished work. You want something as smooth as possible. So I'm not going to blend the line. I'm going to blend the line. So this is the line we're working with, if you can tell. I'm going to be doing away with this extra pointed curve. So if you are making clothes and you discover that whenever you finish sewing for your client, there's this extra excess at the side that is pushing out, it can be at the result of your cutting, what you have done. So let's go ahead and place your, now you are finished getting this part right. We can go ahead at this point to cut off our hip line, but before then, oh, I've forgotten your sewing allowance. For me, I use a sewing allowance of 1.5. You can use 2, but if you are going above 2, you're going to have a very ugly look outside, and for me, that I'm not going to be lining my skirt. I really want something that's very simple as possible. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark out my 1.5 inch following the curve I've done. Like I said, as a curvy lady that I am, my back is not flat, so I won't go and do something like this for my back. So this is the front, this is your back. No, I won't do this. This is a side view. This is not supposed to be this. This is a perfect side view for curvy ladies, right? I'm not showing any shapes, or if you have a side view that is same back and front, it's fine. You don't have to follow this process. But I'm working on this process because most women have this issue. So there's no way that you will not have anything at your back at all that does not require a little bit of shaping at the back. So because I have a defined shape at the back like this, it's not so big, you guys. I'm going to be working on my skirt like this, my zip allowance. So my back of my skirt will not just be flat. If it's going to be flat, something will be happening, something weird will be happening there. Either I will be having, I don't want to touch this. Let me go and draw something else for you guys. Okay, assume this is the side view of your skirt. If you leave your allowance straight like this, what you're going to be experiencing when you finish showing your skirt is that this is supposed to be your skirt too. You'll be seeing something like this. Like your skirt line will be, the side line will be going up instead of straight. To be going up, and there will be a gap here that's supposed to be filled. You understand? There will be something like a gap there. Except otherwise, if you don't like a shapy skirt, please cut your skirt straight. If you are sewing for elderly people, please depend on the kind of elderly people. I don't know. I think some people really want their skirts really shaped, some older people. But you ask them, how do you want your skirt to feel like on you? Do you want it to be clingy? Do you want it to be free? Do you want it to be shapy or flat? So if you want it flat, you can keep your zipper allowance like this. But if you want it to be shapy, you have to work with a shaped zipper allowance. Watch closely. Now, I told you before, my zip allowance is 1 inch I use, but on this hip line, you're going to come out by 1.5 inch. Come out from this place, like away from your center skirt. This is center. This is CL center, front center. Front center. So this is your zip allowance. You're going to come out away from this front center line and mark out 1.5 inch. This particular method differs for some body sizes. If you have a client that is very, very, very big at the back, like some clients are very big that their butts can be going as far as this. Okay, I'm being crazy right now. Their butts can be going as far as this. You can't cut like this still. There's a method you're going to use, which I'm going to be showing you in the next video, I think. But for a normal shaped, all bodies are normal, please don't get me wrong. For a moderately curved body like mine, with a little defined shape, like the shape in here, not this one, this is what you're going to do. So from the hip line, your hip line, hip line, this is your waist, like I told you before, and this is your skirt length. From your hip line, come out by 1.5 inch, like this. From the center, front center length, 1.5 inch, come out like that and mark it out. Now go to your waistline, come out by 1 inch. Hope you are seeing this. From your center front length, come out by 1 inch, or your waistline you have drawn. You understand? This is 1 inch, this is 1.5 inch. Now, on this shape line, come out by 1/2 inch only. Like you're going to go in, rather. You're not coming out or going in. I mean, going by 1/2 inch from your 1.5 inch mark, but come out by 1/2 inch when you're coming from the front length. I hope you understand. I just mark out 1.5 inch on this part. Sorry, 1/2 inch on this part. Now mark the 1/2 inch all the way to the bottom, still maintaining your center front length. Now all the way to the bottom. Now connect that line with a straight ruler. Those 1/2 inch you have marked out. Now, are you done? I mean, when you're done with that, the next thing you're going to be doing is shaping. Because you are not flat, you're going to be using a curve ruler. But if you are working on a client that is kind of flat at the back, you can use a straight ruler, right? Don't need a defined curve at all. This is a curve ruler. Just the way we did the hip line, we're going to be doing the same thing on the zipper line. So you need a little bit of definition, curve definition at that back. So watch the way I place my ruler. I'm not doing it like this. I'm not doing it like this. Do you understand? I'm doing it like this, from the small part to the bigger part. It even looks like a shape already. You understand? The top waist to the hip, where your hip is going to be very defined. Now mark it like this. Now connect the lines like this. You can see, right? Now next connection you're going to be doing, turn your ruler like this. From this, just flip your ruler like this and go ahead and form the zip line. Sorry, this the hip line at the back of your zipper line. Connect it to the 1/2 inch you have already marked out. You see, this is as simple as possible. There's no way you're going to be sewing this skirt and you have a flat look at the back. You're going to have a very shapy look at the back. At this point, there's something I still go ahead to do. I don't put that on my skirts before you come at me and say, why don't you have a dart? It's not going to fit you. You're going to see it after I finish working. Then you'll be the judge of it, whether it fits me or not. Please, there is no hard rules to this channel. If you watch a video here and you think it doesn't work for you, please go ahead and do what works for you, right? I'm doing what works for me and what I've researched with my environment around, what works for most people. That over time does not really matter to my skirts, so I've decided to stop using them. But however, if you have a shape that needs that, there's some shape that really needs that. If you have a shape like this, a very slim waist, yeah, and a very defined hip like this, you might want to use a dart because there will be a gap on the stomach region. There will be a gap because there is that stretch that your waist and your hip is having. If you have a normal hip line that is just normal regularized figure 8, not too much 8, just like this, you are going to require a dart. If you have another shape that goes like this, maybe you have a very huge back like this. This is your boobs. Then you have a shape like maybe a little bit broad and like this and like this. You might want to use that. Do you understand? If you are showing a gown or something or a high waist skirt or thereabout, you want to use that to keep like sew down the excess you'll be having at the back. If you have a shape too that's a big tummy, like maybe this is your boobs, your tummy, and you want to show a pencil skirt that is somewhere like this, a pencil skirt that is somewhere resting on this place like this, maybe your stomach, you might want to use a dart to silence, or rather to hide the excess that will be coming here, because there will be a gap here. So you want to use a dart. I don't know if this what I'm doing is making sense to you, but just use your imagination to guess what I'm trying to do. If you want to be using a dart for your skirt, please impute that before you cut out your shape. At this point, there's nothing you can do. You can no longer put a dart on this block, because if you put a dart, you're going to be shortening your measurements. So before you cut out anything from your side, put a dart already. All right, so I don't need a dart, so I'm just going to be skipping that process or the same. So I'm just going to go ahead and notch my zipper line, because just in case I'm the one that is not working on this skirt, anybody that picks up my skirt will know that, oh, this is where I'm going to be fixing a zip, because I don't work alone, but I'm just telling you what to do if you're working with people, they're trying to cuts for them to sew for you, and you are just leaving something like this for them. They might think this is the peak because your back is curving, so they might never know that this is a zip line, because they're not there when you're trying to cut it, right, or when you're making your block. So just mark this is a zip line. You can go ahead and maybe do an indication or something for them to know that, oh, this is a zip line, on all that. So now I will take out my back block and go away with it. There's something I do to my front block too that still acts like a dart, but it's not a dart, don't get me wrong. It's just come like a reduction at my front center line, a reduction at the center part of my block. For this front part, you come down by 1/2 inch, or you come down by 1/4, that's 0.2 inch. For me, I'm going to go down by 1/2 inch because I want to. Now use a curve ruler, don't use a straight ruler, use a curve ruler to connect that depth you've just done slightly from that depth to the back to the edge of your skirt. You understand? My band is going to be 1.5 inch band, where I cut a 4.5 inch because I'm going to be working on fold like this. Do you understand? I'm going to be folding, ironing your stay on it. I'm going to be folding like this. I'm going to be folding in again like this. So our skirt has a drapery at the side that's just showing a drapery, and it's falling by the side like this. It's falling by the side, a drape. So this is what I want to cut right now. How do I determine my drape effect of my skirt? I didn't do anything really serious around to determine that. What I did was that I just considered, okay, I would love to drape something on my skirt like this. So this is my front skirt, this is the top, this is the bottom, of course. Now I want the drape to come somewhere, just something basic like this, going all the way like this, falling and giving us one kind of effect that we will like. So I'm just considering, okay, what would that give me for my front of my skirt? My front of my skirt, I will use my hip to determine that. Is about, my hip is giving me about 26 thereabout. I will say, okay, I know it's going to be falling, so I won't use this part. I'm just going to consider, oh, what would this give me? This is about 29. If it's going to, so there's no serious measurements going on here. Basically, it's just using your initiative to get what you want. So I went ahead to measure my fabric on fold. I was like, okay, if I'm going to be using that effect, so sorry, I'm going to be measuring that 20, maybe 28 or 26, falling like this. Then I will just say, okay, I want it to fall by the side. It should just fall by the side like this. So I'm going to be considering the length of my skirt for that falling effect. I might reduce it when I finish sewing to get to know what I want. So my length of my skirt as a whole is going to be 22, but imagine after folding and everything minus the band allowance, maybe our band allowance is 1.5. So after fold, maybe 20 or 21 thereabout. Or if you want it to be longer than your skirt, is your choice. I think I want it to be longer than my skirt. So everything I need here is about maybe 28 plus 22, that's about 50. So I'm just going to say, okay, on fold I will be doing something between 50 or more. Consider the fact that you might be folding your allowance for the side and every scenario you might be doing. I'm just going to say, okay, on fold I'm going to be getting maybe say 26 or thereabouts. On fold that's about 52. I'm going to be getting 52 now. 52. No, 52. It's 52. Okay, it's 52. 26 plus 26 is about 52. I guess, or 54. I don't really know. So on fold, okay, this is what I'm going to be getting. Then for the length of the drapery, I'm going to be pleating it. What do I want? Just going to say, okay, let me just go and do something between, you see, 25. So 25 by 52. I'm going to be pleating it. So there's nothing serious, depending on how fuller you want your own to look. It's not so bad after all. It's still giving what we want it to give. This is the goal. Not going to fall down, and this is just what I want. Something very bogus, nothing simple, something classy that we wear with a t-shirt, with a like a corporate shirt, whatever, a sweatshirt, whatever you want to rock your with, right? This is what I have in mind. So this is what we are going to be doing, working on today. So now let's go to the sewing machine and get this done. I've gotten you through the most technical part of cutting. I've ironed my band on fold, like I told you. I ironed my band on fold, ironing my stay on my band, and folded both ends. And yeah, this is what we got for our band. This is way longer than what we want, but anyways, we're going to work on that. This is the zipper we're going to be using for our skirt, the regular basic zipper. And this is our front block. I've weaved the height of my skirt already. As you can see, I've weaved all sides of my skirt except for the zipper line, which we're going to be weaving later. Okay, so now let's go ahead and piece them together. So this is the front of my skirt with unfold. This is the back of the fabric, just to be sure. I've marked out my waistline. I've marked out, we use 1.5 inch for our sewing on that one, so just almost the same thing. I mark my waistline like this. So it's supposed to be 8.2, but I'm going to just mark it out like this to create for ease. For my hip, same thing. I'm just going to mark out my hip 12. I'll take the hips to the back of the skirt. Now for below my hip line, I'm not going to mark out 5 or 5.5. Just going to mark out my shaping. So I told you I want to use 1.5 inch for shaping, so I'm just going to mark out 1.5 inch. You're going to be sewing a loose stitch. As you put your machine on 5 stitch length and sew all the way down, all to the down with a loose stitch. So we have sewn a loose stitch all the way to the bottom of the skirt. So we're going to go to our ironing board and iron like this. If you are yet to understand how I join my fabrics, please, there's a video on my channel where I showed how to join fabrics, about 2 videos. Please go ahead and watch it. So I'm going to iron this one like this. We are done doing a running stitch. Just going to take out running stitch. Now, with losing the sight of our running stitch, now we have a hash line that we have ironed out. These are the lines we are going to be using. You can see we have a perfect shape on both sides, so we don't have to worry if it's going to be equal. See, we're going to be following this line we have ironed and sewed. And yeah, now take the back of my skirt. This is the zipper side, so it's going to be on this part, while this is going to be on this part. Just going to go ahead and sew. Now we have our skirt all open like this. The next thing I want to do to make our work really fast, I'm going to be fixing my band. So skirts do not take that long to make. It's just that is wasting time on it. So I'll fix my band. I'm just going to adjust my band. So at this point, I'm just going to pin so that we have an accurate band. We don't want a band that is moving around. That's why we have one band longer than one, because of this. It's going to just give you this. It's going to make it easy for you to sew down without actually having your stitch line sewn. So when you're ironing your band, it is quite important that just make one side longer, just like the way you are seeing here. You can see one side is longer than one. Here is shorter. This is the 1.5 inch we wanted, and this one is a little bit longer, so it will be easy for you to sew. The next thing I'm going to be doing right now is Before I go to drape, this is my drapery fabric. What I intend to drape with, this is it, the 50 by 25 we cut initially. I've ironed, sewed on all sides, and now before we go to do that, because I want to take it to my mannequin and I want you to watch me as I drape, I'm just going to go ahead and take my zipper allowance so that it will be very easy for me to fix my zip by the time I finish drapery. My measurement will be into 2. Unlike before that, when we were cutting, our measurement was into 4. Now we're folding our skirt on fold like this, into 2 like this, and like you can see, unfold all the way to the back. So this is the zip line, this is the center of the cloth. Now our measurement into 2. Waist into 2 was giving us 16.5 plus a little bit of sewing allowance or ease. Now for our hip, we make sure we check our hip to be sure that we're doing the right thing. Our hip level is 12. That's where we're going to put our hip line, 12. So we marked out 12. You can see it's showing 12. Our chalk is on 12. Now at that hip level, you're going to fold your material like this into 2, or your skirt into 2 like this. Let me go over it again. Opened like this, take one part and fold along that chalked mark that you did like this. Fold along the line like this to get a curve, because your hip is not straight. You can't just measure it straight, so you're going to get this curve like this, this fine curve. And take your tape. You're getting this curve. Now take your tape and measure across this fine curve like this. Of course, remember that line we did. Remember that line we did. That line that is below our hip line. So this is our hip line. That 5-inch line for shaping. This is it here. And I just shaped my this is where I'm going to be shaping. Now this is my hip line. So what I went ahead to do is that I went ahead with my curve ruler, the same way you would do when you are cutting. I connected my waistline all to my hip line. Then from there I took my shape inside again. I measured my shaping, however, I measured my shaping from here to here just to be sure that I'm having a good shape. I opted for 22 shaping instead of 22 and a half, just to give it some clinging effect at that point. So after that, I just went ahead and curved inwards like this and straight all the way down as I got my line. So then this is my zipper that I'll be using for my skirt. I went to factor in where my zipper will be stopping. So I've gone that, okay, for me, I covered my zipper. I like long zippers because I want to wear it with ease. I don't want to force myself into the skirt. So this is my hip line. I'm just going to put a little bit down after my hip line to stop my zip. So after doing that, you iron your loose stitch all the way to where your zip is going to stop. From there, make a tight stitch to the down. So I'm about to drape now on my skirt. I'm just going to go ahead and freestyle my drape. Our mannequin is having a really nice curve, and this is really how I want my skirt to be on me, hopefully. So now I just want to drape. I'm taking my piece of fabric that we cut earlier to drape. So I'm just going to freestyle my drape on my mannequin. Alright, so let's go. So I'm just going to go ahead and sew my drape down. We're done with our skirts. So this is our skirts. I can't wait to wear it for you guys to see our finished work, our finished skirt from start to finish. And I'm just going to go ahead and hem the bottom of our skirt, maybe about 1 inch or thereabouts, and that will be all about our skirt. So the next video I'm going to be seeing you is me on my sexy, pretty, beautiful skirt. So thanks for watching. If you have watched this and you're yet to subscribe, please like, share and subscribe. And if you want to see more of this kind of content, please let me know in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Bye.